Hey everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I share with you my very messy parts of my bookshelves and my TBR cards, but today I wanted to talk about my winter TBR. Now this year I have quite strict plans what I want to read. I want to dramatically reduce my own TBR, and I have a list of 5 series and 5 authors that I definitely want to read this year. So I thought I could share a TBR. Now this TBR is not what I will actually read, but just the books that are options for me. So I separated my whole owned TBR and that list of like books and series I want to read into 4 categories. So we will do seasonal TBRs. I think that way I can make it nice and fresh every season, which will probably make it easier for me to stick to these books and not buy too many new ones. And what my biggest problem actually is library books, which I usually keep up here. And last year I've been really bad with checking out too many library books and then not getting around to them and then stressing out and having months where I only read library books, as I did in January now, because it's just not fun that way, you know? I want to read books because I'm excited for them and not because I have to return them soon. So I will definitely restrict my library access a lot this year. But let's get into these books. I think I will talk about them in the order that I think I will probably read them, like the priorities basically. So at the end I'll talk about the books that I actually don't think I will get around to. Now keep in mind that winter officially starts on the 21st of December and it ends on the 20th of March. So I have already wasted a whole month of winter. So that will definitely play a role in that as well. Now let's start with the 2 books on this list that I have already started. The first one is Daughter of the Forest by Juliette Marillier, and I'm currently listening to that on audio, so I don't have it here to show you, but this one I have started and I already made quite a bit of progress in there as well, so I'm pretty sure I will finish that in January. The other one is The Turn of the Screw and Other Ghost Stories by Henry James. Now this one I have started, but I'm only 2 stories in, and yeah, I'm definitely lacking the motivation to pick this up and read the rest. But I still want to read this, so this might happen. So this one I will not put back into the TBR card because I keep my currently reading books separate. Then for the series I want to read in winter, it is the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. So we have the 5th season, The Obelisk Gate and The Stone Sky. And this is very, very high on my priority list because I own it now. And it's also on my series to read in 2022 list. Then we have 2 other books I got for Christmas that I am highly anticipating and that I think will fit right into winter. And the first one is Pachinko by Min Jin Li. This is a historical fiction focusing on, I think, the relationship of Korea and Japan throughout some generations. And we have Fragen, die mir zum Holocaust gestellt werden by Hedi Fried. This is a kind of memoir, kind of just answering questions about the Holocaust by a Holocaust survivor. Then we have 3 books that I bought in 2021 and then didn't get around to, so they're still very, very high on my priority list. And the first one of that is Wild Woman and the Blues by Denny S. Bryce, which is a historical fiction with, I think, black main characters. And it has 2 timelines, one in 1925 and one in 2015. And we have Blackout by Doniel Clayton, Nick Stone, and Tiffany D. Jackson, Ashley Woodfolk, Angie Thomas, and Nicola Yoon. This is a collection of short stories by these authors, and I think they center around one night, I guess, where there's a blackout, and I think all of these stories are love stories centering black characters, I'm pretty sure, or at least characters of color. And then obviously we have the beautiful God of Lost Words by H.A. Heckwith. Now this is the finale to a trilogy, so I actually want to reread the first 2 books and then read this one. So keep in mind that this book actually stands for reading 3 books, but since this is the only one on my like still having to read TBR, I will put this one in the cart. So then for books that I actually think I will be still able to read, we have this one, Die Unglückseligen by Thea Dorn. This is a German book that I got for my birthday from one of my colleagues, and I still haven't read it because I'm not too sure what I think about the author. So yeah, I want to get to it because I own it, and we'll see how it goes. And one book that I've owned for a very long time and I'm still very much interested in is Only Ever Yours by Louise O'Neill. Last year I read one of Louise O'Neill's backlist YA books, and it went straight onto my favorite books of the year list, so I hope this one will be the same. This is inspired by The Handmaid's Tale and yeah, is I think dystopian. And lastly, we have 3 books where I'm pretty sure I will not get to them, even though I would love to. And the first one I've had for so long and I just want to get to it, but yeah, it is quite big. It is Alias Grace by Margaret Atwood. I really wanted to read this before I watched the TV show, so that's not going so great. Then we have a book I was gifted last year by my best friend, and this is Das Buch vom Tee by Kakuzo Okakura, and this is, I think, a Japanese book that is translated, obviously, because I don't speak Japanese, about the origins of tea. And I think this one is so tiny that I might squeeze it in somewhere. We'll see about that. And then the last one for my ambitious winter TBR is called Die Nacht der Könige by Stefan Boyza. I found this one in one of those free little libraries and picked it up. So yeah, I've had this for a very long time. I have no idea what it's about. It has no cover or like dust jacket, so I have no idea, but it's intriguing. Okay, so as you can see, it fits perfectly into my TBR card, which is probably a sign, but I have one more book on my list, and that is for the authors I want to read this year, and I want to get to my first Robin Hobb book, which obviously has to be Assassin's Apprentice, and I will probably get that as an audiobook later in winter. So that's it. That is my reading plans for winter. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought, and maybe if I should prioritize something that has been more at the back end of the list right now. I would love to hear about that. And I will probably bring you a wrap-up video where I talk about the books that I actually managed to read in April. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. So yeah, leave a like and I will talk to you soon. Bye!